Hey y'all, it's your girl TNT. A while back, I made a frontal wig for myself. This was my first time making a frontal wig, my second time making a wig in general. But if you're interested in seeing how I got my wig to look like this and able to do a variety of styles, stay tuned. So starting off, the first thing I would recommend if you're interested in making your own frontal wig or closure wig is to purchase a mannequin head that is the same size as your head. So what I did is I measured my head and then I ordered a mannequin off of Amazon that had the same size as mine. So what I'm doing now is measuring the frontal from where the cap starts to where the frontal is going to end and trying to make sure it's as flat as possible, and I'm pinning it down with T-pins to get me ready to sew. When you do pin this down, the reason you want it to be flat is because when you put the frontal on your head, you want it to look natural. So you don't want it to be bulky. So you want it to get it pinned down just right so that when you're sewing it, everything looks nice, flat, and neat. As you can see, I finally got the frontal put on the way I wanted to, so I'm going to go ahead and start sewing. So depending on what type of cap you have that you're sewing on, you want to be careful the way you sew it. This particular cap right here has a thick band at the bottom with the elastic underneath. You want to make sure that you're only sewing on the material and not the elastic band that's underneath. I hope that I'm explaining it right so that you can understand, but you don't want to sew on the elastic band at all because then the wig's not going to be able to stretch or move the right way. So just make sure that you're only sewing on that black material. I think it's satin or something like that. So right here, I can see that I'm kind of making a mistake. So you see how I'm twisting the knot and I tied it like once or twice. That was not enough. When you're wearing the wig and you're brushing it and styling it, you want that sew-in, that thread to be as secure as possible. So I definitely recommend not just double knotting, but triple, quadruple, 5, 6 times, however much you have to knot it to make sure that when you pull on the tracks or the frontal that it's not going to come loose. Because later on when I was wearing this wig, I did have to go back and tighten up some of the tracks in the front because it wasn't tight enough. I did see in a video that you don't want the knots to be too big because if it's in the front, it's going to show. So I don't know the exact method to get it to be flat, but to also get it to be tight enough so that it doesn't show. But if y'all have any recommendations, let me know in the comments. have the frontal sewed on and completely attached. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to start adding tracks to the back. So the way that I did it is I just like to keep my bundles as long as possible. It depends how you like it. Some people prefer to measure it and cut it, but I just try to keep it as all together and then just double it up as I go. It's hard to explain. I'm going to show you and then come back and explain some more. Okay, so you see here, I run out of thread and I go ahead and I knot it and start a new thread, but I don't cut the tracks. I just flip it over and I start sewing it again very closely to the other track. I believe the way you space out your tracks depends on the way you want to style your wig, but I had 3 bundles and I was trying to fit as much as possible onto the wig. So while I was doing the back, I did it closer, and as I get closer to the top, I'm going to start spacing them out more. But you'll see what I'm talking about as I go. right, y'all, now that I'm closer to the top, I believe you can see what I mean when I say I start to space it out slightly, just a little bit more, so that the wig can look as flat as possible at the top. I believe from the videos that I saw when I was learning how to do this was you don't want to put the tracks too close to each other at the top, because you don't want it to look bulky. You want it to look flat so that it looks natural and it doesn't look like a wig. So just be careful the way you place your tracks at the top and the way you space them, and constantly check to make sure that it still looks flat and it looks natural. Also, at the very top, when I'm getting close to connecting to where I sewed the frontal on, you'll see me cutting the tracks to fit exactly the way they should so that things don't poke out. I did end up needing to go back and cutting a little bit of one of the tracks. I believe you can see it to the right side because it didn't look flat when I brushed the hair down and I, installed the wig. But just make sure you measure it and that you don't have anything overlapping or sticking up so that you can get it to look flat. I feel like I keep saying that, but that's the look we're going for, y'all. Alright, y'all, she's a beauty. I finally got all the hair installed. Please ignore the man in the back. That's my ex. This video was filmed like 2 years ago. But anyways, so as you can see, I'm going ahead and I'm cutting the wig cap that was underneath the frontal. You want to make sure that you're careful and you don't cut any of the stitching. And then here you'll see me just putting it back on to see how she looks. But now I'm going to go ahead and bleach those knots. So I am a dark-skinned woman, so I wanted to get this to look exactly right. I did like this method, but I am going to link a video right here to a lace tint spray that comes in different shades. When applying the bleach to your knots, some people like to do it in different ways. At first I tried to use the little paintbrush looking thing, and it wasn't really working out for me, so I used the butter knife instead. You want to be careful not to push the bleach too far down so that it actually bleaches the roots of your hair. So it's easier to gently put it on with a butter knife to me, as well as using that lace tint spray that I mentioned earlier that I use later on in another video. like I said, I filmed this video a while ago, so I can't remember how long I let that sit on the frontal, but I believe it was about 20 minutes. Once again, I'm not an expert when it comes to tinting your lace and getting it to match your skin, so I would recommend looking up some other videos. And y'all, please share videos in the comments that you think I should watch to learn how to get better. So this is what it looks like after I washed all of that out, and as you can see, she looks tinted. And so I'm gonna go ahead and cut the lace off. Once again, you want to make sure you're being careful when you do this. You don't want to cut too much hair off, but you also don't want to leave a lot of lace on so that it looks noticeable that it's a wig. But I took my time doing this. Alright y'all, so it's the next day and I'm gonna go ahead and flat iron this wig. I was really excited because I hadn't used a flat iron in so long and I wanted her to be bone straight. So I did my best. Go ahead and enjoy. So I finished it. I really wanted this hair to be like bone straight, and if you can't tell, it's still a little bit frizzy, but I mean, shoot, it gets the job done. It gets the job done. But yeah, if y'all have any tips or advice on how to get the hair to be like silky straight, because right now I feel like it's kind of staticky, but let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Check out some of my other videos. It's been TNT. Let me know what you want to see next time.